we're going to try out the great ZX Spectrum. I previously tried out the CPC Amstrad, and these are both excellent computers. I mean, Amiga doesn't currently run on a Mini, but these two are extremely suitable replacements. I'm going to show you the general configuration and a few games that I've run on here, and it does run pretty damn good with the controller once you're configured properly. So I'm going to go to one of the games that I first played on here called Jetpack. And when you first start a game out, there's a couple things you're going to want to do. Go into my quick menu, my options. I'm changing the model to the Spectrum 128K, so I have that enabled. I have fast load enabled. I'm going back. Go into my controls. And you want to change your device type to Kempston Joystick. There's a reason for that, as you will see. Now, when you start a game, you push the select button, and depending on which game you have, you'll be able to... A majority of the games I've tested do run with the controller, but I'm pushing select to pull up the keyboard. As you notice on the screen right now, I have these choices. I could choose 1 for a one-player game, 3 for keyboard. I do not want to use the keyboard, but I do want to play one player. So I'm going to leave 1 alone, but I'm going to change to 4 for Kempston Joystick. So I'm clicking select on my controller. And I'm going up to the keyboard and tapping 4. Now I'm on Kempston and 1 player. Now I'm going to tap 5 to start the game. And there we go. We got action. So the idea for this game is to collect all the pieces of your rocket and fuel it up so you can take off. And I'm not entirely sure, but I have the Rare Replay Collection on Xbox One, and there's a remake of this game on there, so I'm kind of wondering if any of the people who eventually went on to Rare had something to do with this game, because there's a few other games that I've played that also are on the Rare Replay Collection that have the same guys behind them. So I'm going to have to research that and look that up myself. So you're collecting all the components, taking them to your rocket. It's not a bad game. I'm going to start collecting fuel. It's really interesting playing some of the games that you previously played on Nintendo on here and seeing how utterly different they are. So anyways, that's Jetpack. And if you use the incorrect version of Jetpack, you'll have a loading screen that never ends. Now we're going to try Rambo 3. We'll see how that runs. And I put the 128K because it was specifically made for that model of the ZX Spectrum. Again, I have the option to choose my Kempston Joystick. I'm going to tap 3 by pushing select and 3. And some of the games have a few nuances to get into them. So this is quite a weird game. Looks like I could shoot enemies or literally just walk into them. I see like utterly no challenge in this one. Next. See what else we have to try out. Somebody recommended Fantastic Voyage to me, telling me it was one of the better ZX Spectrum games, so we're going to try it out. So I have to push enter to start the game. I'm going to choose Kempston Joystick. Then I'm going to choose Start Game. It says S for Start Game. Pretty interesting. I could see why my friend told me this is a great game. It looks pretty damn cool. Almost reminds me of a very early Metroidvania game before Metroid existed. That's cool. So I would definitely classify this as a Metroidvania style game. Even the music reminds me of Metroid, and even these environments here remind me of Metroid. So is it me, or does this remind you guys quite a bit of Metroid as well? Okay, let's see what we have next. And I have a feeling you could get different abilities to get past different parts of Fantastic Voyage, so this is definitely on my list to go back to the game. Just gonna scroll through these games and see what else we have. We can play Samantha Fox Strip Poker. I think we'll pass on that for now. How about Thundercats? So I'm going to push the select button, pull up the keyboard, and I'm going to tap enter. Most games that you start, you could tap enter, and then it'll pull up the options for what you can do. I've only run into a few games that I couldn't play. It says J for Joystick. Now I'm going to click K for Kempston. Now I'm going to push fire to start. And it reminds me of one of them handheld games at this point. Almost like a Game & Watch game. And I may try to get the Commodore 64 running too if I'm able to. But right now we have CPC, Amstrad, we have ZX Spectrum, and DOSBox, so we have our PC needs pretty well covered for right now. And let's see if we have another game to try out. Let's try out Wizard's Lair, see what that's about. No, I don't want instructions. Yes, I want to use the Kempston joystick. Any key to continue. Okay, we have a Wizard of War style game. With a brown note for the music. Interesting. And one thing I found very humorous is the way they do music in games. And I specifically noticed it when I was playing Goonies. If you remember the Nintendo version of Goonies, it really did a pretty spot-on rendition of Cyndi Lauper's Goonies Are Good Enough. But wait till you hear the awful representation of that song in the Goonies on ZX Spectrum. It's laughable. So I'm doing enter again. We're going to do Kempston joystick. I have one player set, and I'm going to do 6 for start. Goonies Are Good Enough. What the hell am I listening to? It's like a bunch of grasshoppers that do not have any rhyme or rhythm or music experience. It's utterly ridiculous. And then we got the crazy woman chasing me. We're gonna